Welcome back. In this video we will add users to our database. So for that, first of all, we need to import our firebase database library. So what we can do is com.google.firebase :firebase, and here you need to type database, and it is 16.1.0. Perfect. So just sync the project and it will download the required files. So that's synced in my case. So what we need to do is we have successfully authenticated our users, but we haven't added our user to our database. We haven't stored that user. But if I go to our firebase project, let me take you to the project. So if I go to authentication, we have only the phone number for a particular user and the UID, but we don't have profile picture and what is the name of the user and things like that. So we need to create user and we want to store that in our database. So for that we need to just, I'm selecting from here real-time database, not Firestore. So what we need to do is, I'm going to, whenever our authentication is successful, then our user should be added to the database. So for that, what I'm going to do is just get a reference to Firebase database. I'm going to do it here, private Firebase database, and I can get it here. Firebase database is equal to Firebase database.get instance. And next what we can do is we can just create Firebase database reference and just refer to that particular user section. So for that, Firebase database.get reference to, I'm going to get that reference to users. Perfect. So we have connected to users section inside our database. So we that doesn't exist right now. I'm just going to delete everything here. Let me check what was that. So I'm going to delete all of this data from here. We don't have created any user here, but it will automatically create that particular section here. And perfect. So what we need to do is we need to create a user model so that we can push kind of a user inside the database. For that, just go to our package and just create a new package and just name it model. And inside model, just create a new class, and that's going to be user. Perfect. So just hit OK, and user is going to have 3 or 4 things. The first thing is its name, string, username, and the second thing is user ID. You can say it UID or just ID. And the third thing is its profile pic. So profile pic URL. And what else? Okay, we need status, string status, if user is online or offline or what it is. So we need these things. So we need to get a constructor here, alt insert on Mac and Windows, and you will get a constructor, and just select each from here. And then you need to make them public. Remember from previous videos there was an error when we passed this. So we can do is just make them public. accessible from outside. So if I go to main activity again, and we need to create a new user, so I'm going to create a user and just import the user class here is equal to new user, and we need to pass it certain parameters. And the first parameter, and one thing I missed actually is that we haven't added a phone number here, so we need to do that as well. Public string phone, so I'm going to add that. This dot phone is equal to phone. Perfect. So if I go back again, so here first of all we need to give user name, so we will take it as an input. So we need to have a kind of an interface for that to take the username from user as an input. So for that I'm just going to import another library called circle image. I'm just going to, for profile pic, as you might have seen that, just type in library GitHub and you can get a nice library from here. This is a really nice thing I like about GitHub, that it has plenty of libraries that you can use, and this like of circle image we want to display our user, so this we can import it like this. Copy this, just go to build.gradle module app and just paste it in and just sync your project, and you can see as well the usage of it, how can we use that. So we need to copy this up and just go to your main activity interface. I'm just going to change a couple of things here, like I'm just making it its width to wrap content, so it will look a little nicer. And then what I need to do is I'm going to create a circle image view here, the one we have copied from, and just make it drawable for now. Make it, let me check if we have anything inside our drawable. IC launcher foreground, so I can do is I can use just this default. Let me grab my profile pic from desktop, let me grab that, and this is here, so I can just copy this inside drawable folder, okay, and just name it profile pic for example, okay. So I can use this here. Perfect. So it is not displaying it round. We'll check that out. First of all, just attach it here. First of all, let's just use it. We'll later check its configurations, and then we need another thing, that is the username. So for that we need another text view. It's going to be wrap content, and hint is going to be username. So we need to have a text here. For now, just make it, attach it here, and just attach it with this one, attach it over, and just give a top margin of 28 GB maybe. Oh, it's an image. Go to text view, just make its margin top 28 GB. Perfect. So it is not that much moved. Let's make it 48. Perfect. I think we need to just append this one right here to make it in center. So what we can do is just make it 8 dp. So we have our text view, and its width it needs to be match constraint, or 0 dp, it's equals to match constraint. Perfect. So we have our profile set up here, so there should be a button to make this, to upload this data or to save this data. So for that I'm going to have another button here, wrap content, and its text is going to be save. Perfect. So I'm just going to make it below this one and just center it. Okay, so we have our save button. I'm not really focusing on UI right now. We will make this better later on, but I'm just focusing on the actual functionality of this app. So it has an ID of text view, so I'm going to make it txt username, and you need to do this here also. So next, just give an image, profile image, that's fine, and just give it an ID. It's going to be btn save, and on click it should go to save info, for example. And the next thing we need to do is just make its visibility gone. It will be made visible when this verification is completed, and this one also. And where is the username? Its visibility should be gone as well. And just alt enter to create function in main activity, and it's created here. So in this function I'm going to get some information from user, and that's actually that is going to do this stuff what I was doing right here. So I have got reference to user, so I can get the phone number from the user here. If I'm just going to, I can have the current user that is been online, and we can get that by just mauth dot get current user. Perfect. So what we can do is user dot name. What we need to do is just give it user1. User1 only have two things: user1 dot get display name, phone number, email provider, get UID, and the next thing is user1 dot get phone number. Perfect. So we have and we need to pass in other things and make it to string here. Sorry, to string. Sometimes I get annoyed of this overlaying. When I move the cursor on get UID, it just displays out to string. And then other things we need to get that from user. So for that we have to get a reference to our text view field and the image view field. So I'm going to do that. For edit text, I'm going to make it, was that an edit text really? No, it's text view, so we need to change it to edit text. Okay, so I need to get it. It was username, and the other thing was circle image view. Username is equal to so we can get these details now by using just string. Username is equal to, sorry, it should be, let's say username is equal to username dot get text dot to string. And for image, we have to choose image from gallery, so that's a little longer process, so we will do that now. So we now we need to get the image from maybe user can be able to upload image from its gallery. So in order to do that, first of all, just go to manifest and add a permission to access, uses permission to access internal storage or access external storage, read external storage. Perfect. So, and next we need to just get that permission at runtime as well. So for that, public void get user permission get read permission, and then for Android lower than Android 6, this we need to only declare the permission here, but after Android 6 this doesn't work, so we have to take Android write permission at runtime. So for that, what we need to do is we need to check first of all the permission, that if permission is granted. For that I'm going to make a check here, if check self permission android dot manifest dot permission dot write external storage, sorry, it should be read external storage, not write. Read is to actually access some data from Android storage, and write is to store some data. So we are required here is the read one. Read external storage. So we need to check if it is equal to the package manager dot permission granted If this is true, then we need to return true, else return false, and just make it boolean and just change its name to check or is permission granted, just like this. And we need to also check is that if Android version is greater or equal to Marshmallow, then we can do this stuff, else it is already given to us, as we know that if the Android on which this app is running is lesser than or equal to Android 5 Lollipop, then it will be granted directly by just declaring it here. But if it is Marshmallow or later, then we have to declare take it at runtime. So this will only check that if permission is granted or not. So now we need to make a function to request permission. So for that, activity compat dot request permission, and it's going to be activity. I'm going to give it this, and for the permission we need to give it in a string array. So I'm going to create that, and in this string array we need to give it as that the permission we want, and the permission we want is read external storage. And then we need to give it the request code. So I have to create this one for now. Let me just create a variable here, final string, sorry, it should be integer. So in final int request code equals 1 for now, and it will remain 1 as well. So this will request the permission, but this will only request the permission. In order to capture the result of that particular permission, we have to override a function called onActivityResult or onRequestPermissionResult. So this is the function we need to actually override, and in this function we are going to check if grant results dot length is greater than 0 and grant results of 0 is equal to package manager dot permission granted, then this means that permission is granted to us and we can go ahead. So log.e permission, and it is going to be permission granted. Okay, so we need to now we have the permission. Now we can access the external storage of device. Now we need to actually upload fetch the image from gallery or something like that. So we need to create another function to fetch that image. For that I'm just going to make a function public void choose image. We'll choose image from Android storage. So I'm going to start an activity that will actually return us the URL of the chosen image by the user. So it's going to be intent.setType. Intent.setAction. What will be the action of this, and its action is going to be intent.get content. So it is I'm going to create launch this activity to fetch some content from the internal storage. So that's why its intent is like this. And next one is start. I'm going to start this activity, and remember, if you are starting some activity for a particular reason, or you want to get some data, then you need to start it for result. Start activity for result, so it will return us the result. We need to create a chooser here. Create chooser. This will actually launch the image chooser. Pass in the intent again and just make it select picture. This will be the text displayed to the user, and then it is going to be again pick image request, and I'm going to create this one again here. So this is going to be final int pick image request equals 2, for example. You can give it anything you want to give, and then you need to check its result as well. So its result will also be given in an activity result. For that, we need to just call a function called onActivityResult, this one, and in this function we will get the result of this particular request we have made. Let me check that if this request code is equal to the code we have provided it, that was pick image request code. So if this is equal to this and result code is equal to result, okay, then we can have the path of that particular image. And let me create a variable here, string image path. Then we can go ahead and get that particular data dot get data. We need to just make this image path to URI, so this will actually return us the image URI. So if we haven't the permission, then we need to get this choose image, call this choose image here. Else if we need to check the permissions here while we are saving user information, like if is permission granted, then we can choose image, else we can request the permission, and that will call the choose image in its result. Okay, so this will enable us to fetch the image from user internal storage. And when we want to fetch that, there's actually Actually this is the wrong place to do that. We need to have actually the choose image, another function here, another button here. So let me go to activity underscore main. Why I have done all this stuff is for this thing. Let me explain you this. I have a choose image here. So if I click this image, this should open gallery, and we should be able to choose the image we want to use as our profile picture, and that particular image should be uploaded to our profile on Firebase. And whenever we someone refers to us, that should be used as our profile picture. So that's why we have done that. What I want is if user clicks on this image, it should open up the gallery and choose image from there. So what I'm going to do is I have profile image as its ID, so I'm going to get to this image, and I have already done, which I have already done. I'm going to have a click listener on that. So for that I'm going to make a click listener set on click listener, and this is going to do this stuff that we have done it here. Okay, so this is going to be it should be right here. This one should be right here, and inside this should be there. So once that have choose that image, that should set that image to the circle image view. So we can do is profile image view dot set. First of all, we need to convert that image to bitmap, so we can do that by just map. Sorry, it's actually the URI. So from URI we can fetch exact image by just using this function get bitmap, or we can use it media store dot images dot media dot get bitmap, and from here we can give it get content resolver and the URI. It will get the image bitmap. So URI is actually here the image path, and unhandled exception, so we need to surround it with try catch. Now we can easily set this to profile image. So perfect. So this will enable us to choose image from our gallery and set that image here, but we have still one thing remaining, and that's save image. So what we can do now is we can just go here in inside our save info method, and we need to pass here some things like name of the user. We have done that. We can just do that username, comma. The other thing was, let me check this, name of the user, ID, profile pic URL, and status. So ID is given, and here I need to give is profile pic ID, image URL. So we can do is image path, and next we need to give is this is not actually the image path we want to give here, but for now just give it and convert it to toString. And the other thing that's remaining is status. So for default status I'm going to keep it offline. Perfect. So we'll change this later on. So now we need to save this user to our users list. So we have already created reference to user list. So what we can do is reference dot set value, that is going to be user, no, it's actually not value, it should be, yes, it's alright, and its ID could be dot child user dot get dot ID, and against ID I'm going to save user. So that's it for saving the user, but we haven't saved our profile picture yet, we haven't uploaded that. So we need to create another function for that, public void upload image. So I'm going to create this function here, and if the image path is not equal to null, then we need to upload this image. Now we need to get a reference to our storage. So if we want to store something kind of images, videos and something like this, we need to store that inside storage. So what we can do is get started here and got it, creating default bucket. Okay, so this is set up, but we haven't done one thing, and that's actually go to this here and just implement another library for storage, com.google.firebase :firebase, and it's going to be storage, and probably it's going to be 0.1, and just sync the project. We have lots of data covered in this video, and this is getting really long, but we have to cover it in one video or in plenty of videos, so I'm going to do most of stuff in this video. So inside our upload image, we need to get storage reference. For that we need to get first of all to the storage, so firebase storage, and then we need to get storage reference, sorry, it's storage reference, and it should get reference to images slash, and I want to save this image in this reference. And what I can do here is that I can do is images slash uuid dot random uid. So this will give a random ID for each image. So that should be unique, so it will give us unique ID for that, and then plus it will be, and I'm going to convert this to string, so it will refer to a unique location inside our images folder. So now I need to just upload that file. We can do is put file, and we need to pass the path we have and just add a listener on it. We can add on success listener, new on success listener, and we can, if you press enter here, it will take you to the new line, and then we can add another listener by just remove this one and just add here dot, and we can add on failed listener, new on failure listener. Perfect. So we need only 2 listeners for this. And to indent this code, just press Ctrl A, Ctrl Alt L, and it will indent this code for us. So if this image is successfully uploaded, so we will see, we can just make a toast here, toast.make text. Image profile pic uploaded. And the next thing what we can do is toast next thing what we can do is we can get the URL of that particular file, so we can get just download URL of this file. Alright, so this will give us a download URL. We need to store this download URL, so we can just make a variable here, string image URL, and we can go here, just save that in that URL. So perfect. So it's going to be of type URI, so I'm going to convert it to string. So we need to pass this image URL here. Perfect. So this will save our image on our remote location, that's Firebase, and when we want to save our image is when this save info is called, and then what we can do is we can just save our user. Perfect. So that's the stuff we wanted to do, but one thing that's remaining now is whenever a user is logged in, before logging in the user, we need to take the user to upload its image and to store its other information. For that we need to go to here, and here we need to, what we need to do is just cut this one, just paste here. Perfect. So let's add on failure listener. We need to know actually if that failed. And add another one, success listener, and if this is successful, then we can just start the activity. Before that we need to just hide the current views and display the views of image URL. So for that we need to just, if I go to, we need to just make these things visible, this circle image view and this save button and this username edit text, and we need to hide these two things when the user verification is completed. So if I can go to here and just make phone number edit text dot set visibility gone, send SMS button dot set visibility gone, and I can make them visible like circle image view, image That's actually profile image dot set visibility visible. And the next one I can do is txt username. Actually that's username edit text dot set visibility visible, and the last thing is the button, and that's button save. So I haven't actually created that, I guess. Let me check that. Its ID is btn save, and if I get here, let me create this button here, btn save, and just attach it with its view, btn save. Alright, now we need to make it visible as well. Perfect. So we are done with the coding we wanted to do. Let's test it. This is time to test it. Oh, I just forgot to set its visibility. Gone. No, it's set. Okay, no problem. We have done a lot of code in this section. Maybe there could be some errors. I'm expecting that, because it was a lot of code. Let's see what happens. So we need to give here the phone number, and just send SMS, and we need to give here the verification code. But remember, one thing went wrong is that it didn't send me code. So it should crash. Oh, that's why it just could not send me code. Let me check. Could not execute on click. Okay, if code then do this. Okay, let me run it again. The reason of this is that my internet is gone. I don't know why. Let me just check it again. So that's it for this video. In the next video we'll test it out, and thanks for watching this video. See you in the next one.